Hey there, folks. Uncle Troy here with another C-word update. For those of you keeping track or not keeping track, this is not one of the happy-go-lucky fun and games videos. This is a more serious video, or at least it's meant to be more about a more serious subject matter. My diagnosis of cancer several months back. In fact, that got me thinking about expiration dates. Come time to refill some of my prescriptions, and you always have to check because nowadays it's so many refills by a certain date. Even though I'm on medication that I'm going to be taking for the rest of my life, regardless of how long that is, unless they come up with a cure for diabetes next week, which, according to a doctor about 20 years ago, they were going to come up with a cure for diabetes within 5 years, and that I didn't need to worry about being diabetic because I was going to have a cure for it within 5 years. So, just worry about staying alive the next 5 years. Don't worry about anything past that. And I'm still waiting for that cure for diabetes. In fact, I need to track down that doctor and slap him around a bit. Anyway, but what happens is they write prescriptions, and they write, like 6, 8, 10, 12 refills, but by a certain date, only a year or so. So you can have prescriptions left, but the prescription can expire while you still have refills left. So you always have to check everything. So I was checking all the expiration dates on my various prescription bottles here, just to make sure that I had enough refills and that the prescription hadn't expired, which got me thinking about expiration dates. Technically, I have an expiration date. I was diagnosed with type stage 4 colorectal cancer back in April of this year, 4th month of this year, and the average lifespan, according to certain websites I went to, for someone diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer is 6 months. So now that we're in October, technically I've reached my expiration date. On average, I should have been dead by now, and I'm not, and I'm feeling great. And luckily, I'm recording this in between my chemotherapy sessions, so I'm in that zone where I feel pretty darn good, and I forget that I'm sick. And come Monday, I'll be starting the chemo again, and I'll feel sick again. And that's one of the reasons why I was making sure that all my prescriptions were up to date. Most of these come with some pretty scary things. Take this medicine with a snack or small meal if stomach upset. Avoid prolonged or excessive exposure to direct and/or artificial sunlight. May cause drowsiness. Alcohol may intensify this effect. Use care when operating a car or dangerous machinery. And this one's pretty much the same thing. And these are the ones that are supposed to make me feel better. Basically, I'm taking promethazine, which is Finagrin, and something called prochlorper, which is generic for compazine. And I found out, incidentally, speaking about expiration dates, the last run of chemotherapy hit me harder than any had hit me before when it come to nausea and vomiting. And I actually talked to the staff there at the cancer center about, could you give me something stronger for the nausea and vomiting? What you're giving me now, this stuff is not working. And they said, oh, well, how are you taking it? And I told them I was taking it, when I felt nauseous, I'd take the pills. And they said, well, that's not how you're supposed to take the Procompler. You're supposed to take it every 6 hours while you're on the chemo, while you're actually hooked to the pump, and then for a couple days after, to keep it's a preventative rather than a response. You're not supposed to take it when you get sick. You're supposed to take it before you get sick to your stomach. And I said, well, it says take by mouth every 6 hours as needed. And they said, yes, as you're taking the chemo, you're going to need it. And I said, well, how is that different from the promethazine, which is take by mouth every 4 hours as needed? And says, oh, well, that's what you take when you're actually sick to your stomach. So apparently I was taking this wrong. So after I started taking this every 6 hours, whether I needed it or not, suddenly I had a much brighter outlook on life. I felt much better. So I have to make sure to refill this before the next run of chemo. Expiration dates also has a little funny story, which also has to do with promethazine. Many years ago, I was staying with my girlfriend, and she decided to cook for me, and that's good, right? When your girlfriend decides to cook for you, that's good. And the bad thing was she made a dish called buttered noodles. Um, and the bad thing about that is she did not realize that butter had an expiration date. And so she took the buttered noodles, the recipe, whatever it was, she put in about twice as much butter because she knew I liked butter. And I ate it because I'm a boyfriend, and when your girlfriend gives you buttered noodles, you eat buttered noodles. And I may have eaten 2 plates full of it, because one, because I was very hungry, and two, because she was there with that, expectant look in her face, like, does he like it? Does he like it? Does he like it? Tell me you like it. Tell me you like it, Troy. Do you like it, Troy? So, of course, I had to eat more than I would have otherwise, just to prove to her that I liked it. And so an hour or two later, when my stomach started rumbling, it's just, well, I just ate too much. And then an hour or two after that, when I started feeling kind of sick to my stomach, it's like, well, maybe I'm coming down with something. And an hour or two after that, I was spending a whole lot of time in the bathroom doing things we won't really discuss. But the point being that the buttered noodles did not agree with me. And so, of course, she, who had barely ate any of the buttered noodles at all and ate mostly the side dishes and whatnot, because I found out later, she said because she was saving it for me because she'd made it for me, but she admitted later it kind of tasted a little funny to her, so she didn't eat it much of it. So after several hours of being in the bathroom and not feeling good at all, she said, well, here, take a couple of these, and she pulled out a bottle, and it wasn't even a prescription bottle. It was just a plain, over-the-counter aspirin-looking bottle. Take a couple of these, you'll feel better. So I took a couple of those, and almost immediately my stomach stopped rolling, and I stopped spending much time in the bathroom. And I laid down to take a nap, and that was like 6, 7 o'clock in the afternoon. And I woke up about 4 the next afternoon with her asking me hadn't I done anything all day. Because apparently she'd got up, she'd put me to bed, she'd got up, gone to work, come back home, and I was still asleep. And I kind of staggered around the house because I was still kind of woozy. And it turned out that she'd given me her prescription Finagrin. Unbeknownst to me, because I generally don't take prescription medicines unless they're prescribed to me, because I know I worked at a hospital for 20 years. I know what happens when you take the wrong medicines. And I said, well, these, I'm kind of woozy. And she's like, well, wake up. It's been nearly 24 hours since you took that. Why are you still staggering around the things? Because this is strong medicine. She says, oh, I take 4 of those and then go to work. I think she was exaggerating. But the point is that was my first experience with Finagrin, and so I've kind of been taking these only as absolutely necessary. But now that I'm taking the Prochlorper, Prochlorper. Now that I'm taking this as prescribed, as is intended to prescribe, not what's on the thing, but every 6 hours while I'm taking the chemo, and then for a couple days afterwards, now I feel much better. So hopefully the next run of chemo, I won't get sick to my stomach at all, we hope. What else about the chemo? I've not really said a lot lately because there's not a lot's changed. Basically, I've recovered enough from my surgery. I had those abscesses in my butt which swelled up and caused a major problem. I've been back to the doctor on that. I've been back to the surgeon that did the surgery and the cancer doctor that sent me to the surgeon about that, basically to determine that I've not healed up completely, but I've healed up enough to return to the chemotherapy on 2 of my drugs, but not a third one called Avastin, because Avastin cuts down on the body's ability to create new blood vessels and grow new tissue. And the Avastin is particularly good for fighting certain types of cancers, because one of the ways that cancers fuel their growth is they put out chemicals that cause the body to create new blood vessels, so that more blood flow gets to the cancer. So the Avastin interferes with that. So more blood flow doesn't get to the cancer, and the cancer starves itself. But it also cuts down on recovering from wounds, healing, cuts, surgeries, etc., because those are also new blood vessels and new tissues. So I have to hold off. I think this next run of chemo, I'm going to start Monday, will be without the Avastin, and then the next run after that will be the getting the Avastin back, as well as the other 2 types of chemo I get, whose names I forget. I've got, I don't know why I'm looking over here. I know somewhere in one of these piles of papers on one side or the other here is my my medications that I keep track of. But anyway, the point being that starting Monday I'll have more chemotherapy. Feel bad for a few days, hopefully feel good after that. My girlfriend promises she will come see me here in a few weeks, and maybe we'll go out and eat, see a movie. Maybe she'll cook for me. And as long as it's not butter noodles, I'll let her, because that's what you do. When you love somebody, you let them cook for you, even though you know you've had bad experiences in the past. So, but that's where I am now. I'm pretty high. It's a pretty good day. Pretty good last couple of days. Feel pretty good. I think with the medicine, now that we've got the little mix up about the medicines straightened out, that we will be able to keep our nausea in check. And I'll just have to deal with the general weakness and not feeling good. But high hopes, spirits high, doing good, and ready for the chemo. So there we go. Leave any questions, comments in the comment section below. Hit the thumbs up button. I know it's kind of weird to hit a thumbs up button for chemotherapy, but if we can help other people who are undergoing chemotherapy, having cancer, find this series, and if it helps them at all, then that's why we hit the thumbs up button, just so YouTube was more likely to give this video to other people. And just keep the thoughts and prayers coming. That's everybody asks, what can you do to help? Thoughts and prayers is all I ask. Just the fact that you're out there thinking of me, praying for me, makes me feel better, and that's all I need right now. If I need something more, I will let you know. This is Uncle Troy signing out. Please have a good night.